Summary of Resilient, by Rick Hanson with Forrest Hanson. Life can be unpredictable, especially when you don't know who to trust. You can't trust other people, and sometimes, even yourself. But one thing you can always count on is your mental fortitude, or resilience. Resilience is a collection of qualities like confidence, determination, and compassion that help you push through difficult times, deal with stress, and follow pursuits that your heart believes in. Resilience is essential for mental well-being and inner peace. You already possess all that's required to cultivate resilience. To do so, you need to comprehend the powers of your own mind and change how you think for the better. There are some easy techniques that you can make use of in your daily life to develop resilience and face all of life's obstacles. This book will teach you how to unlearn helplessness and take control of your life. Importance of gratitude. What do zebras teach you about mindfulness? People often feel compassion for others, but find it hard to feel it for themselves. Compassion is what you feel when you wish to alleviate someone from their pain or suffering. To feel self-compassion, try to think of the times when you have helped someone in need, maybe a sick neighbor or relative. Focus on how you felt at that time, and direct the warmth that you felt towards the other person at that point of time towards yourself. Feeling compassionate for yourself will help you to become more resilient, since you will stop blaming yourself for every petty issue and will garner up some self-esteem. It can even lead to making more ambitious moves in both your personal and professional life. If you have ever seen zebras on television, you might have noted that they are quite peaceful animals who keep to themselves. When they sense a lion approaching, they quickly run off in different directions to save themselves from an attack. But once safe, they quickly resume their peaceful routine, almost as if they have no recollection of the threat that they just averted. It would help humans immensely if they could regain their composure as well as zebras. That's where mindfulness comes in. Mindfulness basically means to be present and aware in the moment instead of getting distracted. To be mindful, you need to regulate your attention and avoid judging a situation. Instead, what you should do is focus on what's going on in your mind without trying to change anything. Just observe. It feels more and more natural as you keep practicing it. By being mindful, you will be able to avoid getting stressed out at every minor setback you face and deal with any opportunities as well as obstacles much better. Do you ever wonder what it would feel like if you could be a complete master of your own life? If you have, then achieving that starts with developing true grit. Grit is about dealing with life's challenges head-on, and one of the things that contribute towards cultivating grit is a sense of agency. Agency means that you cause things to happen rather than being led helplessly along a course without your will. It comes into play every time you put your argument forward in a debate, or choose to wear a blue shirt instead of the red one suggested by your spouse. You exercise it every time you choose to be active instead of passive. The other end of the pole is helplessness, or you don't have any control over your own life. Helplessness is a feeling of powerlessness in the face of challenges, and is unfortunately engraved into a majority of us today. People have learned to be helpless due to facing tough circumstances in their lives, like being bullied or having controlling parents. Thankfully, just as helplessness can be learned, it can be unlearned and swapped for agency. To do this, think of any circumstance where you could exercise your will to determine the outcome. It can be anything, even something as simple as deciding to do one extra repetition in the gym, or actively putting forward your point in a corporate meeting. Another thing to take care of is having gratitude for even the simplest of pleasures in your life. Feeling thankful not only feels great, but also helps in making you feel more optimistic and less depressed. Make gratitude a regular part of your day. One way to do this could be to journal everything you felt thankful for that day. The next thing this book suggests you do is to grow your confidence. To do so, think of the moments where you felt cared for. It doesn't even have to be a moment that includes a human being, even being cared for by a pet would suffice. As you experience this feeling on a regular basis, you will make yourself a person worth being cared about in your own eyes. This will lead to an increase in your confidence. Humans tend to overestimate threats and underestimate their capabilities when it comes to dealing with them. As a result, many of us spend our days feeling anxious about outcomes that might not even be distant possibilities in the real world. It is surprisingly easy to control anxiety. All you need to do is control your breathing. Something as trivial as slowing down your breath can help you deal with minor anxiety. To practice this, you can try inhaling for 3 seconds and exhaling for 6. The next thing this book addresses is motivation. Motivation requires you to desire well. What this means is that you should have an ability to distinguish between things you want and things you like. When you want things, you have a tendency to pursue the object of gratification, which can border on compulsion. Obviously, this is hardly helpful. Compulsion can drive you to fill a gap with negative stuff, like drugs. When you like something, on the other hand, you experience a much more pleasant feeling because you don't have the fear of it ending, and you don't need to hold on to it. There is joy in the experience as of itself. Lastly, don't be afraid to dream. You should go ahead and fulfill your dreams. As a child, you might have dreamt of being an astronaut or a movie star, but you let go of these dreams as you grew up and faced rejection. Rejection leads to fear in our minds. For example, you might be holding back and not participating fully in your corporate meeting because you fear that you might be judged. What you need is to realize your fears and then conquer them. You can do this by weighing the risks and benefits if you chose to pursue whatever activity you want to. When you have your fears under control, you will finally be able to take steps in the direction you always wanted to.